Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you all are doing well. It's been just a kind of strange day for us, and then this one topic came up, and it was like, oh boy, hey, we have to really talk about this.
Yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hey, look who it is. Hello, boys and girls. It's your Uncle Rama.
He's excited about it too.
Don't forget, go out and play bally with your dog today. Several times. Each hour.
That's what he says. Yes, it's it. That's it. Good translation. Good translation.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Rama, he definitely loves his bally. Have you heard about the Ring of Fire eclipse that's coming? Yes. Remember, we had that big eclipse in April, and we had the comet, and now I'm thinking, and I said to Cindy right off the bat, there's got to be another comet coming next April. There has to be. It's these signs. What do these signs really tell us? Well, many people are waking up to the fact that we are living in a matrix within a matrix, and everything does feel kind of strange lately, does it not? As the world is awakening to things that are going on I do think it is a very fast rate now, proportionately to the amount of people that have woke up in the past. It was more of a trickle, one here, one there, catching on. It is like, it's like the Dutch boy trying to stick his fingers and toes in the dike. The dam is breaking. It's really breaking, and the system can't plug all the holes fast enough, because when I'm looking at comments in mainstream, and now even seeing channels that have millions of views, and they're talking about stuff that got us demonetized in 2019, 6 months before the whole plague upon the land came. Because, we happened to say, hey, they put some laws into effect. This looks strange. What's going on here? Yeah, well, now, there's no stopping it. You could talk about it to a degree. So what are they going to do to get us to pay attention to other things? Well, again, sign is in the heavens. Day of the Lord, all that stuff coming. Well, anyway, this is from the Economic Collapse blog. Michael Schneider and others on this blog. You could see the type of books that are here: Revelation 911, Paul Bagley, etc. We don't look at the Bible like most people look at the Bible. We look at it as it's part of the script. And the root word for scripture is script. So again, we have to recognize this is part of the play, part of the drama. This is what the actors are cueing into in what's coming next. And yet so many people are starting to realize that too, which is exciting. They're starting to take their blinders off, some of them. So why do solar eclipses keep falling on such noteworthy dates? Could it possibly be that the very sun and the moon and the position of the planet can be manipulated? Could it be that even when we're looking at the sun, we're not really seeing the sun? And, this is some of the stuff that really we were talking about back in 2018, 2019, that was really growing the channel, the original channel, until that fateful May, when we talked about laws going into effect in Florida, where, people could be made to have their components of their blood checked. Let's just say that. Oh, yes. When you think about the whole thing of a sun simulator, and, since Cindy and I have been able to get her into deep states where she can channel Galactic Federation as well as other guides. And, there are those that are out there that will say, those that don't really necessarily watch us all the time and really follow us intently, but here and there, just they come in when the headline looks exciting enough, and they'll say, "How do you know you're channeling benevolent beings? How do you know you're not channeling some dark energies?" Well, we're very sensitive to energies. Number one. These beings we've known beyond this particular incarnation. And it's the love that comes through. It's the literal energy of love and of peace that you don't find here on Earth normally that come through. So when you have encounters with dark energies and entities, they're nothing like this. You can't hide it. And we have had many encounters with dark energies as we have helped many people to purge, release dark energies from their lives on a daily basis. I mean, this is what we do all the time. I'll say to Cindy, because I'll see her grabbing the sage and grabbing her tools, and I'll say, "Who are you working on?" And she'll tell me. And so I'll join her. And we'll banish out these dark energies that are plaguing people. This happens every single day of our lives. This is just what we do every single day. I bet you we have gotten rid of more demons than pretty much any Catholic priest out there.
It's what we do. We do that like we breathe, It's like it is. It's what we do. But no, I mean, seriously, how do you know you're not channeling a dark entity? Because you can feel it. I mean, there's no way a dark energy could channel through me the type of love that I feel when I am channeling a very high vibrational being. And it's not just me that feels it, it's the entire room. I mean, the dogs feel it, Mike feels it. So it's something that you really cannot cover up. Just look at the word channel, that energy flows through you. So as you are talking about the energies that you are feeling and that you are interpreting, that energy goes out of you and into the world. There's no hiding it. There's just no... it's almost, once you channel and once you've seen it and you've experienced it, there's no way to cover up a love like that, and there's no way to cover up a demonic force like that.
No, absolutely. And since we do have activated light bodies, our pineal glands are actually functioning, and and there are more people every single day that are like that. Every single day in these times, because the energies of ascension are triggering that. We've worked on hundreds and hundreds of people that have activated light bodies and that can do amazing things and that do experience things like we experience every single day. So, this is how we know. And as we were sharing, the illusion that we live under in this dark matrix within the natural matrix really does extend out to mind-boggling extent. When you understand that, there really is a lens. There is something, we could envision it as a Dyson sphere, a sun simulator. There is a structure in front of our actual sun that blocks the intensity of the light coming and reaching us, because if we were getting all that exposure already, we would be so changed. The greatest psychics that have lived on planet Earth in the last 100 years would pale in comparison to the average person. There is such change coming. It's mind-boggling, and our whole perspective on reality is changing. We just have to get through this point in time, which in many ways is the most dangerous point in time, because the control system is collapsing. They are failing. They are failing miserably. And right now is when they will attempt to do whatever they can to regain control or see how many they can still hang on to. So when we see this, and I think a lot of people are saying, things like, isn't this strange how things are going? The path of the eclipse, going through Ninevehs and, all these things. which also, hey, we do live in a fractal universe, and it is a reflection as above, so below, as within, so without. When you look at the Hermetic principles, again, for those that are really still stuck in an Abrahamic mindset, look into Hermetics and Hermeticism. As I've said, the works of Franz Barden, of so many other people that have explained this, which really, where's he getting his information from? It's really coming from yoga, the Hindu tradition, and it's really coming from the Kabbalah and some of the Western mystery traditions that are more mystically oriented, which is really just simply awake to the fact that everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. And, consciousness itself is everything when you get down to it. The manifest universe is simply here for consciousness to explore, to learn, and to grow, as we already are eternal beings. We don't need any dogma to change that. But the system needs to maintain power and control. So the system always wants to trick us into thinking we need the system. In reality, no. The system needs us. That's the reality. The system needs us. We don't need the system. We would be far better off without the system. So, those shining lights that are in the darkest of the dark areas, and you guys know who you are because you're probably listening. You're being called to shine your light and step outside of the darkness. And this could be a very, very significant date. Now, while the first eclipse, April 8th, 2024, it wasn't the end of the world, but did it mark a change, an intensification? Yeah, doesn't it seem like everything has just gotten more intense? Every day, every week seems to just go to a new level. Well, now here we are. We're going to head into October. October is 6 months away from April. And now we're going to have the Ring of Fire eclipse, which happens to be coming on Rosh Hashana. Of all days and all times, again, the Abrahamic tradition is the lens which most of the world looks at itself. Oh, yeah, this is really very, very, very extremely curious. So, again, what's going to happen? Well, it might not be anything on that one day, but it's marking a change again, a change. So the second solar eclipse of 2024 is going to take place on October 2nd. When it occurs, the sun will have just gone down in Israel, and the festival of Rosh Hashana will have just started. So as he says, let that sink in a little bit. Is it just coincidence that the first solar eclipse of 2024 just happened to fall on the very first day of the very first month of the Hebrew calendar, and the second one just happens to fall on the day that is celebrated as the Jewish New Year? No, because again, we are under a Abrahamic lens in this world, and it is an Abrahamic system in this world. And when you look to Rosh Hashana, literally translates head of the year. So it's the new year, Yom Kippur as well, is in this time frame. When you look at this, it's the first of the high holy days, as specified in the book of Leviticus. Leviticus, again, from Aaron, the first high priest, and the tribe of Levi, which, by the way, Karl Marx's family apparently is part of that tribe. And no kidding, when you realize, again, Karl Marx and the Rothschilds, you have communism, founding father on one side, and capitalism's, poster family on the other, two sides of the one coin. Absolutely. So this is very, very potentially significant. Let's just say that. And, again, the timing can vary year to year. Sometimes it can be in September, sometimes in October. It happens to be October 2nd. Begins 10 days of penitence, culminating in Yom Kippur as well as the beginning of the cycle of autumnal religious festivals that run. So, typically, again, everything is kind of inverse of what we're used to when it comes to the traditions that come out of Judaism, as they read from the back to the forward and from right to left. And also, again, what we take as sunset is literally the beginning. In Judaism, everything is completely upside down and opposite. So Rosh Hashana marks the beginning of the civil year, according to the teachings of Judaism, is the traditional anniversary of the creation of the Adam and Eve. Again, is that a symbolic representation of the first Homo sapiens sapiens? That's how I would take it. But we do know, Adam was also known as the same being as Utnapishtim from Sumerian and Akkadian traditions. We find the same stories, and they're 1,500 to 2,000 years earlier. So, again, it's a revision. But the first man and woman of this specific species, Homo sapiens sapiens, not necessarily humans in the bigger sense. And again, the Torah, this is all coming from the Torah, and they blow the shofar, which is a hollowed out ram's horn. Ram, again, Lamb of God, and Ram, Aries, Mars, the planet Mars, the god of war. It's all so symbolic of the system that we are under, which is very, very patriarchal, totally patriarchal. You could view it again as very warlike and aggressive. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? So to speak. Well, the original Earthlings definitely had more of that Venusian vibe to them before that Mars invasion that truly did occur. I would again say that the invasion really, really started with the event that we would call the Younger Dryas extinction event. And I do think that all those Carolina bays that you see, all those impacts all over North America and other places were really, that was weaponry coming in. And this is really the message that we have gotten from the guides. But here you have, again, an amazing eclipse just happening to happen at the exact timing of this Jewish holiday.
How does this keep happening over and over and over? It's almost like somebody wound up a clock and just put some things in place and let it go. And it's almost like somebody knows the future. Somebody knows what's going to happen. Or, very odd. Very interesting. I think, we should pay attention. It doesn't mean that something for sure is going to happen. Eventually there are a lot of things that are going to line up and click in place. And yes, there is going to be a very big change here on Earth. And I want to emphasize the word change because so many people think that the world is going to end. But things, the way you do them may end, and the way you know them to be done may end. But this world is never going to end. It's cyclical, and things change, and we adjust, and we move forward. So although this could be a big change in everything, I don't want people to be afraid.
No, it's got to change because we're changing the yugas. So. Interesting to see again, New Year is connected with the beginning of a new economic year. New economic year. And you could see, you go back farther, this timing is again, it does go back to the Sumerian stories. It does go back to Babylon, obviously, the Enuma Elish, etc., etc. Yeah, it is again marking a point in time, and keep that economic part in mind as well. So repentance, this is again about atonement for your sins and disobedience of the karmic masters. Obey your master. Didn't Metallica say that? I think so. Yeah, master of puppets who The puppetry is in at least that Metallica song is done through mind-altering substances that pull people down ever darkening hole, a black hole. Black hole. I mean, I think about this. The solar eclipse, especially the ones again that are ring of fire eclipses, they're very, very ominous feeling in so many ways. Well, this is talking about healing and karma, because when you look at it, it is again a very, very interesting alignment. The solar eclipse on October 2nd, 2024, poised to be very remarkable, occurring in the zodiac sign of Virgo, as the Sun, Moon, and Ketu align at approximately the 15th degree of Virgo within the nakshatra Hasta. This eclipse carries powerful energies that can catalyze significant changes in our lives. So Virgo is the sixth sign of the zodiac, often associated with themes of health, right, service, and meticulousness. Oh yeah, Virgos can be those people that organize books alphabetically on shelves, or movies and things of that sort. Absolutely. Health and healing, because many people are not feeling good lately. In fact, and this is what it boggled my mind to see that video, 1 million views from a big channel that was talking about openly the cure for the plague upon the land, and pretty much saying it's the only thing that person could think of that brought about all these people dying of cancer, etc., etc. Well, is there something else coming? I mean, we have only seen the very, very tip of the iceberg. Again, the sickle maker said 12 years. 12 years, in 12 years' time, if we got it wrong, according to the sickle maker back in the 80s with the original crisis that was hitting a certain group of men, if we got it wrong, in 12 years' time, we might not have anybody around, basically, is what he said. So, is there something else that's out there? I think what's out there right now has laid the groundwork for so many things that can come. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. So, the timing, again, health and healing. Virgo is the sign of wellness. Very important to be as physically and mentally strong as we can be in these times. And I see so many comments where people are saying, thank God I didn't do something. Thank God I didn't do it. Now, I don't want to make you think if you did do it, there's no hope, because I do think that there's more than hope, because we're changing the Yugas. And when we go into this Bronze Yuga, it's really, compared to where we came from, the sky's the limit. And the guides wanted us to share that miracles can happen and are happening all the time. It's just, miracles don't sell in this world under this system. It's all the doom and gloom that sells. So we want to get that across. Miracles will be commonplace in the times coming. Absolutely. And the groundwork is there now, because we're changing. We are getting to be much more powerful in our ability to manifest. And you can manifest healing in your life. Just, again, do things that are going to support that. Service to others, those influenced by Virgo often find fulfillment in helping others. This is what we need to do. We need to start to reach out to others as much as we can and stick our necks out there and share our truth with them and share all the ways that and I see you guys do it all the time, how you could overcome. You could do things like detoxing, boosting the immune system, what foods to avoid, what practices to avoid. It's all the stuff that you guys do every single day. And again, Virgos are natural troubleshooters, adept at analyzing situations, finding solutions. And this is also about society and improving society, and also advocating for social justice, karmic challenges and lessons. Could it be that there's some serious karma coming back at the dark control matrix?
Just like with any really bad abusive relationship, you have to keep in mind that they get desperate and they can do, anything, and they will do anything because they want to stay in control. And having control over us is like their life breath. So I think that's the thing we need to be ready for to the best of our ability. And spiritual nature, being in the flow, being in a really good place, having your spiritual practice, because I think it's going to be a little bumpy when they do decide to set things off. But I don't think it's going to be impossible to get through. I think it's going to be a little uncomfortable. People are going to have to stretch themselves and do something different, but we can do it. And if you have that practice in place, it's going to be much easier for you. It's like, oiling all the gears.
And then K2 is at the heart of this eclipse too. And that's the south node of the moon. And so K2 is, along with its partner Rahu. Rahu is the head, K2 is the tail, so to speak, and it really was a demonic energy that was severed in two, according to the Hindu myths. And so when you look at K2, it's spiritual awakening. It is absolutely the quest for truth beyond our material existence. It's also about detachment. It's about letting go, and as uncomfortable as it may sound, I think there's a lot of letting go that we're going to have to be willing to do to gain our freedom. And, I think that's going to be extremely hard for some individuals, and for others, not so hard at all, as many people are already taking those steps. And it's also associated with healing practices, pursuit of knowledge, often through isolation and introspection. So when you look at that, is it possible that we're going to go through another period of isolation? I wouldn't doubt it if we are again in some sort of LOCK down. And it's all about karma. So there's all these things in place with this eclipse. And again, it doesn't mean October 2nd, it's here. October 3rd, all those things are done. No. These are energies that are at play in the world, and they're at play in our lives. What's interesting, though, is when you look at this, there's this buzz among certain people and certain groups, as you see here, Rapture 2024, running out of time, September or October. There's a lot of people that seem to believe that the rapture is coming at this point in time. Is that not interesting? Fig tree update, 40 days to rapture on Rosh Hashana. So you can see, there's a lot of people that are believing that this ring of fire eclipse is, either going to be a trigger for the second coming physically of Jesus Yeshua, or a rapture event. So you can see, people got it all figured out here, and it's just interesting to follow this. And, I think most people are really, truly operating from the goodness of their heart, even if their beliefs don't go along with ours at all. I really think that they want to help people. They really do want to share and say, hey guys, I want you to be okay, and I want to be okay. And this is really what they're talking about, but they don't understand the system in play. They don't understand what the original words were about, the traditions were about. And so, they have a totally different mindset. They're in there with that tunnel vision going on. It really hit me big time. As a kid, I loved going to my Bible studies. I went to 2 a week for years, and I went to like some all day Sunday events that started out with music and ended up with food. I mean, we're talking like 4 or 5 hours in church on a Sunday. I went down that route, albeit it was, 30 plus years ago, 35 years ago. I don't know. I'm getting old. I can't keep track anymore. Decades just fly by. And the whole time I was never really a believer. Never. And I was just fascinated with it. And as I shared with you, one of my favorite groups that we belonged to were the Jews for Jesus. Now, I was the only one that wasn't Jewish by birth. I grew up in a very Jewish area. All my friends had seders. I took part in this, So, it's not foreign to me at all. I grew up with it. The other part I want to bring up is that September, October. Remember, it was talking about this is This has to do with the economy too. Even from the spiritual side, when you look at Rosh Hashana, it's the beginning of the economic year. So when we see crashes, they almost always occur in this time frame. And so you had Friday the 13th mini crash, Black Friday. I remember that. It was 24 at that point in time, and running a business. October 13th, Friday the 13th, 1989, you had a crash. Interesting when you see it. October 24th, Black Tuesday, this was a big crash. This is, again, the 1929 beginning of the Great Depression, which really we didn't get out of really until the end of World War II. So it was really the industry from the war that provided the impetus to get out of that crash. But this was all about changing systems, changing power structures, which they do every so often. Did you know Black Friday was a stock market catastrophe that took place on September 24th, 1869? 1869. Yeah, after a period of rampant speculation, price of gold plummeted and the markets crashed. Interesting. You see all those ties. You guys know this song, Black Hole Sun, right? Soundgarden. What happens when the black hole sun comes? Well, people get sucked up into the sky, up into the black hole sun. Does that not sound like a rapture? When you look at it, what are they saying? Again, when you look at some of these music videos, there's people going up into the sky. Black hole sun, won't you come? Yes. Won't you come? Won't you come? Does this have any relation to this time? Wash away the rain? Interesting, is it not? Now, even more disturbing than that is this. And this is David Bowie's Black Star video, which we had intended to make a video on all about the symbolism in here. But honestly, the darkness that's around this was so much that it took us like a week to get this song off of we couldn't wash it off, and we couldn't get the lyrics and stuff off. It's so dark, and it's so sad. David Bowie at the end, he was a real tortured soul because he understood that he bought his fame at a price, and that fame carried a heavy price with it, as does anybody that has made an agreement with the system. To have fame, wealth, everything that we see, the stars of this world and the billionaires of this world, it comes at a price. And here you have that Ring of Fire eclipse with the astronaut. This is such a demonic song, so dark, so disturbing. I can't tell you how dark this is. This is just, but again, at the heart of it is that, black hole sun again. Interesting times.
It is, and it does in there. It goes through what I believe to be a lot of how this this world that we live in now is discovered, and how humans were even changed, and how humans are even kind of stuck in this nothingness, and how zombified they are, not realizing that they're just moving to a beat without having any understanding of why they're moving. So this was really disturbing. It did, like Mike said, took us a while to wash it off. But, there's a lot of information in there, and it might help some people process and understand, it's just the beat to it and everything. There's some subliminal stuff. So, yeah, you definitely want to shower in sage, but there's information in there. I do feel sorry for David Bowie. You could tell in here he was tortured, and it's like they are given a certain amount of information, and I feel they want to tell the public so badly, but they're not allowed to, but they can through their artwork. They are allowed to do it through their artwork, but they can't come out and just say what they our knowing, and that's the price for selling your soul. It's like you trade for the riches and the glory, but once they realize that they've traded and what they traded for, it seems like there's they feel like they have to do something for the world, the planet, to help people understand what's going on. And I think that's what he did in this video. So we have a lot coming up. I mean, there's when it comes to eclipses and star changes, and we really should keep an eye on the stars to kind of read the world we live in, because that's our everything. That's our guidance. That's our guidance post. Those are our staples. To learn the stars, I think, is important.
Absolutely. And so, there's a lot of symbolism here, and also he could be just plainly telling us there's something in front of the sun blocking the real sun from us. But even more, the timing of certain events and the eclipse energies. So this is very, very notable. I do think that we can see, there is a religious component to this. There is an economic component to this. There is also, the aspect of the pressure of the war that could be coming as well at any time when they choose to expand it. There's so much to this right now. And of course, that next layer to the weakening of the health situation on the planet and the potential for another downlock time period, it does feel that there will be some of that coming. And don't forget again those DEA-GEL numbers. What are they really saying? And when they give you 2025, were they meaning January 1st, or were they meaning sometime during 2025? And how much of the darkness will the dark matrix be able to manifest? Because the light is spreading, and again, light is knowledge. And, that's what gnosis is. It's knowledge and understanding what position we're truly in here. Well, again, the cracks are really getting very, very big and obvious in the facade of the dark matrix. So, keep shining your light and keep anchoring yourself to the light. There's going to be some shocking things just ahead, but we can handle it if we just brace for it.
I know, and this is a cute little guy. It's just a cute story they have going on, and yeah, there's a lot coming up, and you can get ready, and like we always say, get that spiritual practice in place, because that's going to be your guidepost when you don't know what to do.
Thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. Look forward to your comments and thoughts on this one. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.